Let's create some cumulative charts. It's not an easy task, so I will guide you through the help article and we recreate two charts. Cumulative Flow Diagram and Burn Down chart for the release. So we have an app with user stories and bugs, and we have a release that unites them all. Let's check it out. So this is our reporting sample app. So we have release, story and bug and story linking to release. Okay. Now create a new report. And we want to create a chart, and now you have a selector between just usual entry reports and cumulative reports. We want to have a cumulative reports for stories and bugs. Here is it. You can select the date range. It's optional, so we can just leave it as is. Here we go. Now the first chart we're going to create will be cumulative flow diagram. And let's follow our tutorial. So here is the chart that we are going to create. So we already select cumulative. And the next step is to set an x-axis. You should use a timeline function that aggregates historical data. It's not so easy to explain, so we just copy the sample function and we'll add it into the x-axis. Here we go. Looks good. The next step is to set y-axis. Here we just should count entities in some state. So it will be basic count by ID formula. Now we have it. And finally, since we want to track state changes, we have to put state as a color and change our chart type to area chart. Now you see we have years here, but we are not interested in years. Maybe we want to have days. So you can customize this as well. And here is our cumulative flow diagram. So open bugs and stories, and progress bugs and stories, and done bugs and stories. Here is it. We can enjoy the view. The next one is burn down chart. So let's add a new chart. Burn down. And we already have data like stories and bugs. So we can skip this step. By the way, this is the chart that we are going to create. And first step is to filter data by release. So we have stories and bugs from all releases. Let's just add a filter and select release here and release 1.0. This is our filter. Sounds good. And the next step is similar to CFD. We define a timeline function for x-axis to aggregate our historical data. And let's add a new function and just copy it here. And note that we want to cut the data using release dates. So when the release starts and ends, we are not interested in like bugs before or after the release. So we have that. Okay. Now for x-axis we want to calculate effort to do. So you can just find effort here, effort to do, remaining effort, and put it this way and change chart type to a line. So this is our burn down chart for release 1.0. You see a slight increase today. But we also want to add ideal and forecast lines. Let's do that. So again, we have a special function for ideal line. Let's just copy it. And we add lines as annotations. So we have to customize our x-axis here and add an annotation. And this annotation will be ideal line. Just edit. And here we have our ideal line. And the next one will be a forecast line. And again, we have a forecast line function in our charts. So you just copy this and let's add a new annotation. It will be like forecast. Well, it will be not semaphore to do, but semaphore to do. Oops. Interesting. Okay. Now we have it. And maybe let's change the color of this forecast line and make it red. There we go. Now we can save our report, and now we see that this is where our release ends, and basically this is where it will be completed based on our velocity, like May 3, said May. And you can switch to CFD chart and see your cumulative flow diagram for all bugs and user stories. And you just call it history reports, cumulative reports. So this is basically how you create charts. The next example is that you can create burn up chart for your release. It's more informative chart. It shows you when your scope increased. For example, this date was increased, this date was increased, and so on. So you can create this chart in Fibery as well. And here is the flow. And you can create more charts, but you have to understand the timeline function. So you can go and read the description and try to use this function to create other interesting reports. That's it for today.